My name is Warren Senders. I live outside of Boston with my family. 79 years ago, my mother, Virginia Senders, had an abortion, and it made her career and professional life possible. 10 years after that, she had another abortion under very different circumstances, and it saved her life. 3 years after that, I was born. I owe my entire existence to my mother's abortion. This is her story.
Before I got married, I went to see a gynecologist about getting fitted for a diaphragm. This was in 1945. This doctor had never told me to use a spermicide with a diaphragm. I instantly got pregnant. I was at Harvard, starting my PhD program in experimental psychology. My husband was carrying a full-time job and also going to school at Harvard, so he was no more eager to have a baby than I was. My reaction was utter despair. I was so naive that I didn't know that I couldn't just go to a doctor and have it taken care of in the same way that you'd have an appendix removed. I was surprised to find that the law had something to say. I was ready to do anything. We talked about methods of self-induction, which didn't seem reasonable. It must have been a friend who suggested we go to a psychiatrist to get the foundation for a therapeutic abortion. I don't think we would have thought of it ourselves. At that time, therapeutic abortion was permissible if it could be shown that the pregnancy posed a grave threat to the physical or mental health of the woman. Then I started the rounds of the psychiatrists, and that was eye-opening and a very unpleasant experience. I can remember the interviews as being humiliating and degrading. We went ahead and made an appointment with a back alley type abortionist in Boston. He was said to be the safest of these dangerous people. But before that date came, we went to see another psychiatrist, a distinguished doctor who came from a family of physicians. He sat us both down and asked us a lot of questions about our lives, our plans. He got to know us. And then he said, I wouldn't do this if we hadn't talked at length, but I'll write you a letter. It was finally done at Mount Auburn Hospital. I didn't have to tell anybody in the psychology department about it. So that was that. And my husband and I went on. Of course, there were many times when I would think, now it would have been such and such an age, and that would have been very nice. Except that I wouldn't have been the same person either doing what I was doing. Did I ever rue the day? No. Afterwards, I had a total of 4 miscarriages. Then in 1956, I got pregnant, and it seemed to be taking. I went into premature labor, and the baby was hydrocephalic. It was delivered by the breech up to the shoulders and stopped. It was horrifying. I remember the doctor saying, I'm going to have to destroy the baby's skull in order to deliver. This is what is now called a partial birth abortion. This fetus was 6.5 months along. We had hoped for it, wanted it. It was sad, devastating. The end of a long trail of having lost 4. But if the doctor had said, I can't kill this baby, my mind boggles. If the baby had lived, chances are very good I wouldn't have. My husband would have had to put the baby in an institution. Do you think that would have been a good solution? I can understand the rationale of saying abortion is murder, but I think the story is bigger than that.
Thank you for listening to my mother's story. This is why we're not going back.